Evening, everyone. It's a very early evening and an early live stream for me, guys. Obviously, it's a bit of an emergency one, but it's also my third video of the day, so apologies for that. But after seeing the video from Essex Police earlier on, I just had to come online and have my say, because I've got to be honest, I'm bloody fuming, right? So, I mean, I actually was going to start this stream an hour ago, but I thought, no, give yourself an hour, Paul, to calm down a little bit. That's what I've done. And thankfully, I've just managed to turn it down just a notch. So probably a good idea that. Bear with us while people pile into the room. 380 people already in. King Arthur just finished the other video. Thanks, mate. Charlie, I am all good. Thank you very much. Mr. T, police are instigating violence. They should face criminal charges. Well, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Alan says, we're all pissed as you, Paul. Never seen you so bright and early, lol. I am actually around this time of day, believe it or not. So, yeah, I mean, basically, I've been waiting for this press conference all day. And it comes along and, you know, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to play it. I know most of you will have seen it. But I'm going to play it. And I'm going to comment as we go along. I see. Hello, Paul. You and Teddy got home safe, I see. Now, if anyone didn't see that video of that from Danny, well done, Danny. Stitched me right up. I think I've already explained it, but if anyone wants to know why Danny managed to get a video of me with a giant teddy bear on my back, on the back of my bike, I haven't gone all weird. I had my one of my younger granddaughters over for the night, and she can't sleep without her teddy. So I had to, the car wasn't available, so I had to ride all the way to my daughter's to pick up this teddy and bloody ride back with it strapped to me back. Yeah, he'll be the man when I see him. Angela, seen both your videos today, thank you. Makes you wonder what's going through the police's head. Absolutely. Good afternoon, Thomas. Right, look, I'm sure that most people are actually going to see this later on. So we'll get into the video and I'm going to stop it where and when I feel that I need to comment on it. Let's get going.
Here to talk to you about events that have recently happened at the Bell Hotel in Epping. Before I do that, I just want to set out some clear issues here. Who's important to Essex Police? The communities of Epping, the communities of Essex, and the right for everybody there to go about their business lawfully and peacefully.
Right, let's stop it straight away there. For me, this looks like a man who straight away is on the defensive. He knows that they're banged to rights and he's on the defensive from the kickoff. But let's look past that. His opening sentence is, who's important to Essex Police? The people of Essex, the people of Epping, and the residents, and their right to go about their business on a day-to-day basis in safety. Well, that we know that. That is exactly the goddamn problem. That is why the people are out protesting. That is why everyone has got the ump, not just in Essex, not just in Epping, but right across the goddamn country. What we all want is the right to go about our daily business in peace and quiet without the threat of violence or harassment. So we know that. We don't need the bleeding obvious being stated to us. And by the way, who are the residents of Essex and Epping? This is a question that I've got for this gentleman. Who do you class as the residents of Epping? Because the people that we're talking about here, the people that the people of Epping are angry with here, they're not residents. They are illegal arrivals from God knows where, with God knows what sort of background, God knows what sort of crimes behind them, God knows what sort of intentions they've got. They are not residents yet. They are legal arrivals from no one knows where. So that's, I mean, we've only got 30 seconds into the video and it's already a car crash.
Whether that's to express a view about something we agree with or disagree with, but what it's not about is allowing people to commit crime, to commit violence, or to disrupt those communities.
Right. Absolutely. We don't want anyone committing crime. We don't want anyone disrupting the communities. The people of Epping certainly don't want anyone disrupting their communities. That's why they're outside the goddamn hotel in the goddamn first place. So if you don't want people disrupting the community of Epping, why did your police force, Frog March, escort, whatever you want to call it, why did you escort those people to face the very people who you knew were going to be angry about their presence? Why did you do that? Let's carry on.
So that's at the heart of the Essex police operation. Importantly, we police according to the law, as it is, not as people would want it to be.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You police according to the law and not as people would want it to be. Now, I don't know a lot about Essex Police. I know nothing about this particular police officer, and I'm not pointing any fingers at him or at Essex Police. I'm pointing a finger at every single force right across the country who, for the last couple of years, the last year at least, has been busy appeasing one group while being heavy-handed with another. So please do not try and tell us about, I mean, I'm just not having that at all.
So it is clear and factual that people in this country, and it's an important element in our democratic rights, that people can assemble peacefully and lawfully to express their views, whether we
I agree with that. Yeah, that's true.
agree with them or not.
Yeah.
And that's an important point and one of the objectives for Essex Police in this matter. I want to thank the people of Epping. I want to thank the people of Essex.
Fingers down the throat time.
I also want to thank all those who have turned up to protest and express their views peacefully and lawfully, because there have been many of those. I've seen the pictures, I've read the commentaries in the newspapers that have been made to many of you about people who feel firmly about an issue that concerns them and have expressed that well, peacefully, to make their views properly known.
Well, you're very lucky that it was as peaceful as it was after your officers brought along paid agitators to cause trouble. You're very, very lucky, really. Actually, you should be thanking the people of Essex for remaining calm in the face of such provocation.
What has been unacceptable has been the people who have come to Epping and committed violence.
Yeah, the ones that your officers escorted from the station to the protesters, to the families.
Who have attacked people who work at the hotel, who have attacked officers.
I haven't seen any of that, but I'm not saying it's not true, but I haven't seen that.
Who have damaged property and who have caused fear.
Who have attacked officers and attacked property. Now, yes, there were people behaving disgracefully the other night in Epping, and I will not condone that, and I will not defend it. I didn't see any police officers being injured, apart from one who was attacked by his own dog.
And disruption to the people of Epping. That is not tolerable. It will not be tolerated. And to that end, we have made 10 arrests.
Yeah, I bet you have.
A number of those people have been charged. A number of those people have been remanded in custody for serious offences.
I bet they have.
And my thanks go to the Crown Prosecution Service, who have assisted us in bringing those prosecutions.
I bet you do.
I also want to be clear that where people commit other crimes, and you will have noted that this issue started with a crime committed by a resident at the Bell Hotel, and where people in these residences commit crimes, we'll deal with that as well. And in that particular case, I want to stress and remind people that within 2 hours police responded. We arrested, we have charged and we have remanded an individual for that alleged assault on a schoolgirl, and they remain awaiting trial. So we are being absolutely impartial.
Impartial, right?
Policing according to the law and making sure we enforce the law and try to protect communities.
The trouble is that the police are now well known for making up the law as they go along. They're no longer protectors of the law. They just busk it, don't they? A lot of time they're busking it.
That is the approach that Essex Police will take. It's the approach Essex Police continues to take and will continue to take as further demonstrations, which we know are being advertised and discussed in the media for the coming week. I also want to be really, really clear. It is not for Essex Police to make a judgment about asylum or immigration policy. That is for government. It is for Essex Police and the police more generally to make sure that people can go about their rights and their business lawfully.
But you haven't been doing that, have you? You haven't been doing that. The same as many other police forces right up and down the country. You have not been ensuring that everyday people can go about their business peacefully and without the threat of violence. We watched a 20-year-old young lady who the other night said she's now frightened to walk her dogs. My own mother-in-law, 90 the other day, 90 years old just the other day, no longer takes her morning walks because she has an asylum-seeking hotel within a mile of where she lives. People's lives are being changed. So please don't give us that one. We're sick of hearing it.
Whether that's to be part of a community, the businesses of Epping, for example, the people of Essex, the school nearby, or indeed the people who are residents in that centre. It is not for me or my officers to try and make up policy or to be partial in the back of a police van.
Officers across the nation are doing this every single demonstration that occurs. And the word that keeps coming out of this man's mouth, I'm going to be blunt now, right? There's a word that keeps coming out of this gentleman's mouth, the people. He keeps using the word people. I tell you what this man's thinking about. It's another word that begins with P, and it's called pension.
It is for us to enforce the law, to act within the law, and I think our actions and the bravery and the commitment of the officers, some of which have been injured.
The bravery and commitment of his officers, some of which have been injured. Now, I watched that the other night, just the same as many of you do. I saw one officer that was injured. That was when a police handler was bitten by his own dog. He talks about the bravery of these officers. Now, look, there are times when police officers are brave. I hold my hands up to that. And when they are running to danger that I would want to rave from, I'll put my hands up and say I admire that bravery. Yes, there are plenty of officers that do brave things, but the other night in Epping wasn't one of them. They were faced mostly by women, children, parents and grandparents, not by hordes of 20-something-year-old men, fit fighting age men, not by hordes of football hooligans, by mums and dads, nans and granddads, and by a few young kids, a few idiots that were throwing a few bottles and a few empty cans, plastic bowls, some water, etc. These police officers, remember, are fully dressed in riot gear with shields, with batons, with tasers, with pepper spray. I wouldn't call that brave, I'm sorry. I just wouldn't. It's not my idea of showing bravery, bashing up your local community. What about the guy that had his teeth knocked out in front of a camera because, okay, he was getting a bit loud and he was a bit in that officer's face? That was an assault. You're protecting the people of Essex? Well, then arrest that officer that assaulted that man and knocked his teeth out.
Has shown that, and we will continue to do that. I also want to thank our partners, whether that's Epping Forest District Council and the many other partners from emergency services, the CPS and others, because whether it has been this asylum hotel or other asylum accommodation across Essex, and indeed I know this is the same for officers and forces across the country.
It's the same for the people of the United Kingdom right across the country. Frankly, we're not bothered about your officers.
We continue to work with the authorities, the Home Office and local partners to make sure that people can live their lives safely, that people are not harmed. That is our priority decision, to make sure that people do not get hurt and the crimes where they're committed are dealt with.
So if it's your priority to make sure that people don't get hurt, I have to ask again, why, oh why did you deliberately bring one group who are in complete and utter opposition to another together within, not even within feet, within touching distance? That was absolute and utter insanity.
And they're prevented. So we continue to do that and will continue to do that, working with all the different communities, whoever they are. I also want to pick up an issue about information, and thank you. You are the responsible press. You've come here together to hear the facts from Essex Police.
Oh, you are the responsible press. You've come here to hear the facts from Essex Police. So we've got Essex Police praising the mainstream media, and the mainstream media are there to report the facts from Essex Police. There's an oxymoron if ever I've heard one.
About the policing operation. Okay, I would encourage people who are on social media or in the media to comment responsibly. And that's not me seeking to limit people's views, but to ensure that where people do make comments, those comments have real world consequences.
That I agree with. I've said that myself on many occasions before. Anyone using social media, especially people like myself and even, like bigger YouTubers, people that have genuine influence on people that might be attending these events and demonstrations, we do have a responsibility to send out the right message, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
To the communities of Essex, which are at the forefront of our minds, to the officers and the staff that have to police these operations, and they do sometimes give licence to those who would seek to cause harm, to commit crime, and to hurt the very communities that the police and Essex Police seek to protect. So
I think the people seeking to hurt the local communities there are probably the ones in many instances where the locals are thoroughly fed up. How can you trust a group of men? How can you have any faith or any belief in a group of men who've already broken the law to get here? We don't know where they're from. We don't know their backgrounds. We don't know what they've been through, whether that be good, bad, their fault or someone else's fault. We don't know anything about them. How can the people of Essex, how can the people of the United Kingdom be expected to be comfortable with that?
Please, if you need information about this operation, the policing operation, speak to Essex Police. We will be clear in our commitment to give information, whether it's to the local community.
Tina says, why does he sound nervous? Well, he sounds nervous, Tina, because I don't believe that he can believe in his own message.
Working with our strategic coordinating group, our group of local partners who are working together to make sure we understand and listen and can deal with any of the issues from local people and businesses, or to us directly in policing about the policing operation. So please, disinformation is not me seeking to limit people's views. It is making sure that those things that are said do not undermine the safety of the people who are lawfully and peacefully protesting, for the people of Epping, and indeed the officers and the staff that
I'll go along with that. Disinformation is a bad thing. We don't want disinformation. However, when he talks about disinformation, what about the disinformation that's coming out of his own mouth right now? Right throughout this press conference, there's disinformation and inaccuracies, big inaccuracies. Let's carry on.
Are there as part of this operation. So going forward, we know there are a couple of protests that are advertised. We have a robust, and I stress robust, policing operation in place.
Yeah, I bet it will be.
You will have seen the arrests we've made. You'll have seen the footage about the officers. And I want to make it really...
Yes, we have seen the footage of officers. We've seen the footage of your officers knocking a man's teeth out. We've also seen the footage of an officer involved in a case in what I would call reckless and dangerous driving, trying to run someone over. Why would they do that? They must have had a pretty bad day to have done that, to have been that angry. Could it be that that particular officer driving that vehicle has sentiments from the other side? I wonder. But yes, we did see the officers, as you say. We saw them very well.
Really clear. If you come to protest peacefully and lawfully, then we will allow people to do that. It is their democratic right. It is...
As long as you're not standing in the road or by the side of the road, because that van actually hit 2 people. So as long as you're not in the road or by the side of the road, you might not get run over by one of his officers.
It's their legal right. If you come here and commit crime, we will deal with that robustly. Working with our partners, we will gather the evidence and we will bring prosecutions, because that is in nobody's interest for people to get hurt or to limit people's freedom of speech through violence. The operation is clear. You will see that through the coming weeks, and I'll ask people to respect that. So in summary, can I just say, it's about communities. It
is about communities, our communities, not yours.
Protecting communities, whoever they are. It's about operating within the law. It's about dealing with facts and making sure that Essex Police does the job it needs to do, which is to prevent crime, reduce crime. And I want to stress that every single officer that is on this protest that has to deal with the thugs and vandals is an officer that is not otherwise protecting a community from a sex crime or a burglary.
Well, they're certainly not protecting you from street robbery and shoplifting, are they?
Or antisocial behaviour. So please, 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 again, my appeal to the people of Essex and particularly Epping and anyone who comes to protest.
So basically, stay off the streets, guys, because we need our officers to be doing something else. I mean, come on. I mean, every McDonald's and Greggs must be empty when something like this is going on.
Please think about that. Keep within the law, help us to do our job and make sure everyone can express their rights, their views safely and peacefully, because that's an important part of Essex Police. Thank you.
Chief Officer, one at a time, can we get to gentlemen?
One at a time. I mean, who's this guy in the background here? Look at him wagging his finger. Look, the public have got the right to ask questions. Where are the citizen journalists? Where are they being allowed to ask questions? This guy now wants to make sure that the right people get to answer the questions and how long they're going to get. This guy in the background here is this man's manager.
In the red tie, thank you.
Sorry, Peters, GB News. Your colleague Stuart Hooper said in terms of bringing people to the hotel, the police have a duty to facilitate free assembly. The force initially said that they didn't bring anyone to the hotel, but your colleague seemed to suggest that that had happened after footage emerged. Can you set the record straight then? Was Stuart wrong when he
Let's get clear. Let's rephrase that. Were you lying?
said that?
Under the law of this country as it stands, people have the freedom to assembly and to freedom of speech.
So your officers did bring people towards that hotel?
Listen to my answer. That is there is a duty upon policing to allow people to exercise their rights of assembly and protest. That's a right of this country under the Human Rights Act.
So he's not answering the question. We know that that's our right. We know that. The question is, did your officers deliberately march a set of people who are, let's be honest, mentally not quite right in the head, towards families peacefully protesting? Give us an answer.
People came to that of their own volition. They walked up to that protest in order to ensure that we understand the threat, manage and deal with the risks and the issues.
They walked up, they were bussed up and they were bussed out by your police.
As we did outside the hotel, as we did in the high street, we had officers there and they would have walked alongside to make sure that they understand, can intervene and prevent and detect crime. That's what.
This just doesn't work, right? This just doesn't work. And I go back to my football analogy from the video earlier. You get two rival football firms, one at one end of the street, one at one at the other. The police do not escort them towards each other. They get them away from each other. They keep them as far away, correctly, they keep them as far away as they possibly can from each other. This is absolute gaslighting at its best.
happened, that's what the photos show, and that's what we did.
Was there no thought about keeping the groups further away from each other? It's well known that these groups will...
There you go, the obvious question.
Confront each other and generate that hostility, which then leads to sparks of violence that has played out. Is that a regret from your force that you didn't keep them further apart?
It's not for me to comment and to try and criticise, or indeed to examine that operation.
That's interesting. I wonder whose job it is to criticise and comment on that operation.
Made 10 arrests. We have managed to ensure that those who are, as I said at the beginning, lawful and legitimate, were there peacefully protesting. And there were many of those, many more of those, and I want to stress that they were able to do that, and that's our priority around making sure that they can do that. And where people stepped across that line, where they committed and broke the law, they were arrested, and the court records will show they have been charged and some remanded, and that's the position we take around that criminality.
Charlie.
Does that include reckless drivers?
Thank you.
So there you go, guys. That's it. I mean, it's enough to make you want to find the nearest sink and vomit, isn't it? To be quite honest with you. Look, I'm trying to give the bloke a little bit of a break. Maybe he doesn't like appearing in front of a camera. Maybe it's not his thing, and it may well not be. You know, if he's live, he's got one shot at it to get it right. I get all that. I'm live now. But this is not what the people want to hear, is it? This is it. The police have got to start to understand eventually, if it's not now, if it's not tomorrow, if it's not next year, there are a time and a day is going to come when these people have to pick a side. They have to pick a side, and it's not the left or the right. It's not this particular political party or that particular political party. It's a lot simpler. When I say they've got to pick a side, it's actually a lot simpler than it sounds. It's about choosing right over wrong. And it's very clear what's right here and what's wrong. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it, except for those that govern us. Couple of supers. Paolo Duarte, thank you. Hey, Paul, hope you're doing well. Keep up the amazing work. God bless you and your family. Thank you. Jackie, thank you. Why did they ship in huge amounts of police from the Met for what was known to be a peaceful protest? The local police would have been sufficient. It stinks of fish. Great question, Jackie. I don't know how long it would take those people to come in from the Met, or whether they were maybe, possibly, what they could be, Jackie, they could be sitting somewhere close by us on the Palestinian marches. If you sort of go around about half a mile away from the march, you'll find Manchester police from Cornwall, and they're there ready. But they wasn't expecting trouble, or were they? That's the thing. AJ Audits, cheers, mate. Get yourself over to AJ Audits and subscribe. Essex police are dangerous. I've seen it firsthand. What about the cop who ran people over? Nothing will be done about him. Of course they won't. Eddie Lee, well, thank you very much. This head plod is an absolute muppet. I mean, look, I'm not a wordsmith. I'm not an analyzer particularly. That's not really my forte, right? But I've got to tell you now, there's going to be people a lot better than me with their words, that are going to pick that video to absolute pieces. For me, it was an utter car crash. And you know what's the real irony of this is that this officer will watch that, he'll go home to his family, and they'll all sit there having dinner, smiling, going, look, that's Dad, look, blah, 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 and all this, right? They'll sit there and think he's done a grand job. When in fact, what he's actually just done, he's pretty much insult everyone. Stand up for what you believe to be right. Tell the truth. Why didn't you mention the officers that had run that gentleman over? Why didn't you mention that police van that knocked two people over? Why didn't you mention the officer that literally assaulted a guy who was, getting a bit hot-headed? but that was totally and utterly unnecessary. That was an assault by an officer in full riot gear, with a shield made of, I believe, a material called polycarbonate, which is almost indestructible. It's almost bulletproof. It's very, very hard. If you hit someone with polycarbonate, you might as well be hitting them with a wooden truncheon. It's no different. So, look, I'll leave it to others now, other people that are better informed than me, better with their words, to pull this interview apart and to analyse what this police officer was saying. For me, it was awful, awful. No real sympathy or empathy for the local people, just more and more lip service, thanking the CPS, thanking his fellow brave officers. And I've already said there are times when I think the police are very brave, but this wasn't one of them. This was not one of them. They were not facing hordes of rioting young men. They were facing a few teenage idiots throwing a few cans about. If you think that's a riot, or, you know, boy, oh boy, I've seen worse on a Saturday afternoon outside most football grounds. So I wouldn't get carried away talking about the bravery of your officers in the face of adversity. It's not D-Day we're talking about here. We're talking about a few kids and a lot of mums and dads, nans and granddads. You're very good at dealing with those. I'll give that to you. Right, that's it. I've got it off my chest. Not pleased, not impressed. Essex Police, my message to you is, I understand much of which that officer was trying to say, but he said it very poorly, in my opinion. But my message would be this: keep your hands off of the people. You're there to protect them, not to persecute them. Yes, absolutely, I agree. Deal with troublemakers, deal with violence, deal with disorder, and deal with it as you see fit. But show some empathy, show some understanding. Those people standing in front of you that are goddamn angry are your people. And as I said earlier on, the time is going to come, whether it be now or in the future, when you have to choose a side, when you have to understand whose side you are supposed to be on. You swore an oath of allegiance to the King and to the people of this country, not to men who have come here illegally in the first place. We don't know anything about them and are hiding away in a hotel, many of whom are going on to commit some very serious crimes against our children. What part of that is hard to understand? Ooh, exactly, Gillian. It'd be different if it was their children. Exactly, Shell. They denied everything until the video evidence came out. Think about that. Just going through some of the regular chat. They broke police regulations. Disciplinary action should be taken. Look, at the end of the day, I'm sorry. Maybe I've got this wrong. Maybe I always like to be open-minded and try to be fair. If I've got something wrong, I want to know. I want to know why I've got something wrong, so that I can be better educated. If I don't know that I've got something wrong, how can I ever get it right? And the same goes for the police. Until they can get into their heads that they've got this all wrong, they're never going to be able to put it right, and things are only sadly going to get worse and worse and worse. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So many of us continually and repeatedly call for calm and to stay off the streets and to keep it peaceful. But how much longer are people going to keep listening to us? It's going to time when they go, do you know what? This ain't working. What are you talking about? You keep telling us to behave ourselves, but behaving ourselves just isn't working. And that's another dilemma that the authorities now face, of course, because If the people of Essex managed to rid that hotel of every illegal migrant from that hotel, and the hotel was either shut down or whatever they do with the goddamn thing, if they win, that sets a precedent. I spoke about that the other day. So the authorities have just made a complete and utter mess of this from day one. Right, guys, look, I gather there is some events going on over at the Britannia Hotel over there in Docklands, Canary Wharf area. So I know a lot of you will want to get over to see that. Let me know what you think about my thoughts. More importantly, if you're a police officer, let me know in the comments below how I've got this wrong. What did you make of that officer's speech? What did you make of his statement? I saw no empathy there. I saw no real evidence of any real understanding. All I saw was lip service, straight out of the textbook, gaslighting, not addressing the problems, and a total lack of understanding. That's what I saw. And I think that's what most other people will see. It's time to wake up out there, guys. And when I say it's time to wake up, I'm talking about police officers. Understand whose side you're on. Yes, we know you've got a job to do. Yes, we all want you to keep the peace. But come on. Your seniors have got to start acting in a way that the public can relate to. And we're not relating to you right now. Right, guys, that's it for today. That's it for this evening. I believe there's plenty of other lives. There's going to be lots of commentary on the video that I've just played today. And I'm looking forward to watching it just like you. Jim, it's the Hillsborough syndrome. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's the Hillsborough syndrome. Nothing on the mainstream BBC News. Shocker. Well, as the police officer himself said, the responsible media were there. Well, the responsible media are always going to go along with the narrative, aren't they? Right, guys, that is it. Love to you all. Stay well. And all being well, I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.